Hi there, this is Robbie Robertson, Lakeside Sailing Club, and just another quick video to go through the Race Control app, because there's been some changes, and also to run through it as though you're running a race. So the first thing we need to do is fire up the app. There's an icon there with Lakeside Sailing Club's logo on. If we press it, it brings up the main screen, which is where we come back to each time we've performed a function. So the first thing we need to do is decide define who's racing, and for that, if we select the second one down, fleet info, here we have a list of the possible people racing, and the app has been increased to hold up to 40 boats now, and hopefully the people that are racing are already defined, but if they're not, you can go to one of the template ones below. I've one here marked test. If you press and hold on the entry, and a dialog comes up where you can change the information. So if I change the helm to myself, for instance, and change it to laser, and so on. I won't carry on, but and then you either cancel if you don't want to make the changes, or press save. And as you can see, that entry is now gone to Robbie Laser. If you want to select a boat for racing, then you just click on it once. So I've selected myself there, and if you find that you don't want that one, then you just press it again and it will disappear. So I'll go back to the top and just select a few so you can see what happens. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. We'll take one more of myself on the laser. And so I'm saying that those boats are racing. So if I press the back button, it goes back to the main screen, and you then get yourself ready, get the hooter out, get the flags connected but not hoisted, and put the number of the course up on the side, define the course, and get everybody out on the water. Once they're get ready to go, if you press the third one down, race, then it shows you those boats that I've selected ready to go. Now, when everybody's out on the water and you want to start the 5-minute countdown, give them a few blasts on the horn to get their attention, wait a few seconds to make sure they reach their stopwatches, and then you press start and press the hooter at the same time. Hopefully that's made a noise. It didn't make a noise from what I can see. Well, so I'll just I'll show you something else. If you make you need a general recall or make a mistake, if you press and hold the button on the clock for a long time, then it aborts. Let me just find out why I've got no volume. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. So this time hopefully we'll hear a noise. There we go, and that's the 5-minute counting down. At 4 minutes, it'll make a noise again to remind you that you needed to press the hooter again and put up a second flag. And then 1 minute, another sound, and take the other flag down. And then at the start, it'll automatically start counting up. Now I'm going to abort this because I don't want to wait and video 4 minutes to go. So I'm going to press the cancel again. And I'm going to just nip to settings, which you wouldn't normally do, and press the debug and sound off. But you wouldn't normally need to do that. It's just so that I can get it. So I'll press the start again, and it does a quick countdown because it's in debug mode at the moment. But normally it would do the 5-minute countdown. So now the race is underway. Everybody's gone off successfully. You don't need to do a recall. And as you can see in the top left, the clock's counting there. And they would go around the course, and when they reach the timing marks, you obviously want to capture the timings, and on the manual system you would look at the stopwatch and note the time and write it down against the entry. With this app, what you need to do is find the boat that's coming through the line. Let's say it's Tony in the Comet, and as he passes the line you just tap on it once, and it captures the time, which in this case is only 37 seconds, but there you go. And it shows that it's on lap 1. And you continue doing that as the boats go through. So I'll select a few. I'm going to not select me to show that I didn't complete the race. And the idea of the colours is so that you can see which boats haven't yet gone through, and so you're looking at a smaller list. and consequently when you go through further laps, let's say Tom comes through first this time, it's a different colour each time so that you can see which ones haven't gone through. Okay, I'll do one more lap to show you. Let's show you what happens if you make a mistake. If Tom went through the line, but by mistake I pressed Tony, then press Tom straight away afterwards, and then press and hold Tony, and it drops it back a lap. So if you make a mistake and press the wrong boat, press the right boat, and then correct the mistake. So now Tony's coming. Let's say Dave's come through. Tony, Katrina, and I'm going to leave Stephen at 2 laps to show you average lap corrections. So one more. So this is the last lap. You will have done the hooter as they come around the final mark. So they're all coming through, and you just do it as the same as capturing a lap. So all the boats are finished now. Stephen's a lap behind, so he's not going to complete. Oh, he's 2 laps behind. That's not quite right, is it? Let's put in 3 laps. And then when everybody's through the line, you press end. What that does is stores the information away for all the laps and such, so that you, in case you forget to do it. And now we're showing the post handicap calculations of the corrected times and the position. So in this case it shows David is coming first, and then Katrina second and such. Before I pressed end, I should have noted Stephen's at the bottom's time, because you will have seen it will have adjusted. Right, so at this point you can either just press reset, or if you want to review the results before the next race, you do back on the tablet and then press review results. And there's the information there. Because it's in portrait, it's always going to wrap round. You can shrink and so, but if I turn it sideways, then the information will be a lot easier to read. Okay, so those are the live results, as I called them, because they're from the last race and I haven't reset yet. If I go back, I'm not even going to turn it sideways for a second. Press race, do reset, and then go back to review results. There's nothing there. Let me just turn it that way. But I've got a save results button, which I can then pick out the file. Now it saves it in 2 formats: a text file, which is the same as you've just seen. It formats it the same in terms of the information. It will display up to 6 laps, but it only displays the ones that there's results for, so it's only gone to 4 laps. As you can see, at the bottom, I didn't finish, so it's got a DNF at the other side. It also saves it in PDF format, which we might find that we want to use for displaying on the website. So I've created that format as well, and it's a much, I don't know, a neater format, you might say. Same results, but in a different format. Okay, so I'll go back and come out of that. So the race is finished. If we go back to Fleet Info, we could say, well, in this case, I'm not racing any longer, so we've gone down a boat, and then go back to the race format, and away you go, and repeat the race. So what else is in the app? There's some help for each of the areas. Again, it can be zoomed in on and scrolled if you've got trouble reading the small print. And I think that's all I need to go into. The settings you wouldn't normally need to change, and they have those are the default: sound on, seconds on, which we tend to use rather than minutes and seconds. Autosave is normally on as well, just to make sure. And the information that's down below is for me to help me with the app. There is also an edit fleet info, so you can do a mass edit of the information, but that would only ever be done really once a season, so I wouldn't worry about that one too much. And the only other thing to note is to make sure that when you've finished is to press exit rather than the home button, because what it does is it saves all the information in Fleeto, including the selections. So if I exit and then go back in, you'll find that the fleet info information is selected. And that's about it. Okay, thanks very much.